Welcome back, Week 2, Bears football. Little recap of Kansas. When you have big emotional games like that, it's good to go back and be objective about what you saw, what your processes were on offense, defense, special teams, the communication. But I think going back and rewatching the film, one of the biggest things that I was most proud of was our team's ability to react to some negative things early in the game. Obviously, the game could have gone south quick in the first quarter with our first 2 drives. We were able to create some positive plays. We were able to convert a 4th down, which was great. Defense had some good stops, and they answered the bell. A lot of times, and we talked about it the whole time, is we have a group that won't flinch. We do have a group that competes hard and flies around and will try to put the pads on you for the most part. We looked at most of the crucial decisions throughout the game, and again, you need to analyze those situations. Did you make the right calls here? Could we have been better there? I stand by the calls and decisions that were made during the game. I think our offensive staff had a good plan, defensive staff had a good plan, special teams executed well for the most part, and we have to continue to get better. Let's make no mistake about it. It's a 10-point ball game with 10 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and it ends up 47-17. You can't turn the ball over, especially backed up in your own zone. And then on defense, we have to be able to get off the field on 3rd down. I think that was the big tell in the second half defensively, is inability to get off the field on 3rd down in crucial situations and get the ball back to the offense and let them find some rhythm. And I think we started pressing a little bit late, trying to do some things that, again, which forces you into making some difficult decisions. And we just have to finish games better. And I think that obviously the physical prowess of Kansas, and, when you look at them off the hoof, they look like a real Power 5 football team. And I think that caught up with us a little bit late, but we're ready to bounce back, and we have a great opportunity against a really, really good and well-coached UT Martin team. So looking forward to this week.
When you look at wanting to establish the run during the game, you guys weren't able to do that. You were able to protect the quarterback outside of the first drive, but what was it about the offensive line play that could improve? It was running backs not seeing holes at the same time.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We weren't able to establish the run at all early. The running backs were getting hit in the backfield constantly, 2 and 3 yards deep. They did do a nice job of showing us some new looks. They did a nice job of stemming the front. It was something that they had not shown last year that we kind of settled into later in the second quarter, second half. But we have to do a better job of moving the LOS. We have to do a better job of understanding our assignments and firing off the football and changing the line of scrimmage so that those backs do have somewhere to go. Because, again, as a running back, I don't care if you're Barry Sanders and you have the most unbelievable vision there is. If somebody's on you as soon as you get the ball and you're getting hit, there's not much you can do with that.
At the same time, defensive line, no quarterback pressures, I think I saw the number was. Just wasn't able, you weren't able to get anything on them.
Yeah, we struggled winning some one-on-ones up front. That was unfortunate. Now, on the flip side of that, schematically, you have to understand the quarterback. And, again, I know all week they were saying that number 6 was going. He was the guy. They knew all along, and we knew all along that it was going to be the backup. He's more athletic. He's not as – I don't think he's quite the quarterback as 6, but he did an unbelievable job against us. And you have to be able to control the pocket. Sometimes that is not being able to do the rush games you want. Sometimes that's not being able to be as aggressive as you'd like. But moving forward, you're exactly right. We have to win more one-on-ones. We have to create opportunities to get after the quarterback because that helps it all. That helps your defense go, is being able to be good up front, defensive line-wise, and create havoc for the quarterback.
Did Jacob win the job on Friday?
Yeah, Jacob's going to be our starting quarterback moving forward, but, he made good decisions. I think he ran the offense well. I still don't think you should be super surprised if Jordan comes in at some times and does some things with his ability to change the game. He's a live wire. He's got a live arm. He's smart and can run the offense just as well, too. So, again, Jacob wasn't perfect by any means, but he did do enough to remain coming out with the first huddle, and we're excited about him.
How do you break that to Jordan? Because, you go into the game saying significant packages for both, and he doesn't see it down and wasn't able to maybe try to win it himself.
Yeah, Jordan's a mature kid. He understands how football games go. He's a competitor. He wants to win. And Jordan has been unbelievable. Every single time we have a conversation, he's about the team. He's about winning. He's about putting his nose down and doing whatever he can to be ready when his number's called. Again, throughout the course of games, things change. Plans change, and he handled it extremely well, and I think he's excited for when his time comes.
Ryan, put you on the spot. What kind of a grade would you give your debut as a head coach? How do you feel like you adjusted?
I think we can take that in two parts. As being a competitor and wanting to win the football game, we got beat 47-17. Okay, so I think that would be a grade in itself, and you can go ahead and be the judge of that based on, the post-game presser that we had and the raw emotion in the locker room that guys felt. Just because you will never go into a game going, I'll feel good about a 47-17 loss. But on the other side of that, I think our players were ready to play. I think they understood the package. I think they were in position to make plays for most of the night. We have a young group, and they battled, and they believe in what we're doing. I couldn't be more excited to get back to practice tonight and see their faces and see how they respond, because there was nobody hanging their head in the locker room about poor us. It was all about, just like we talked about all week, most of the big plays that they got and most of the things that happened positively for them were by way of us not executing, by way of us not doing things efficiently. But I thought the communication went well on the headsets. I thought the processes and decision-making throughout the game was what it needs to be.
Coach, can you talk about now going up against Tennessee Martin, a very tough team, so 2 tough games coming out of the chute on the road for this team?
Yeah, we really know how to put a schedule together, that's for sure. Jason and those guys down there do a tremendous job. We have a ton of respect for them. Obviously, the last 3 years we've played, it's been a possession here or there every single time. Those are the games you want to play, and again, being able to go down there is the next added challenge, to travel 5.5 hours by bus to UT Martin. But again, I think we're ready for it. I think it will be a really good opportunity for us to see how fast you can clean some things up and move forward in a positive direction. Because as you watch the tape, I'm sure all of you have watched it a few times, but maybe not as much as us as a staff, but there's a ton of things to clean up, and there's areas where you're just right there, and we just got to get over that hump and find a way to make some plays.
UT Martin was tough with Georgia for a little bit. Georgia's all right. Just what you see in their game that showed them they were able to hang tough there for a little bit, things that you guys are going to have to tap.
Yeah, again, they're extremely well coached, and their head coach, being the offensive guru that he is, he always finds a way to get his athletes in space and create opportunities for his athletes to go make plays for them. They always develop good quarterbacks. I mean, the last 3 years we've played them, they've had tremendous quarterback play. They're big up front. Their running backs do a nice job finding holes and making plays, making people miss in the open field. And then I think they're just as stout on defense too. They went after Georgia for the most part, and they were aggressive in the way they called the game and played their safeties a little more shallow than they had shown in the past, and they were aggressive. They played to win, and they hung around for a little bit just like we did. And again, sometimes as those games go on, just like you said Georgia's a pretty good football team. Yeah, they're I think they'd give a lot of NFL rosters a fit. So they competed well, and again, they're similar to us, I think, in regards to their football program and the guys that they recruit and the amount of athletes they want to put on the field. And Coach Simpson's been doing it for such a long time. I have a ton of respect for him, and it's going to be a challenge.
Coach, what about health-wise? You come out, Lawrence, okay, health-wise?
We did. We came out fairly healthy. Obviously, you guys didn't see Kalino Levine on the field. He's dealing with a few things. He's day-to-day. And outside of that, it was just really some nicks and bruises here and there. But, again, everybody's solid, ready to go into this week, and everybody should be performing today at practice.
You said in there that you stand by your decisions. I assume you're talking about those 4th downs where
I am.
You guys opted to punt.
Yeah, so when you look at things as a whole, you have to look at it as, our players aren't machines, and we were backed up on our 38-yard line, and it's a close game. If you were to get it, that's great. It still runs clock off, and you have to score at that point. If you don't get it, you have 11 other guys that are running on the field going, you just went for it, and the ball's on our, 38, I think? 38. And if they were to score, you basically just put the ball game away. So, and again, when you look at the full process of the game, you can't just sit and look at the number of, it was 4th and 1. Yes, it was 4th and 1 with a short field. You punt the ball. We got them to the 3rd and 14, which you love. We get off the field there. They kick it back to us. We shorten the field. There's your decision. Obviously, it didn't go like that. So I think that's a situation of last man with the pin wins. As a staff, we were together on the decision. The players believed in it, and that's what's most important. As long as your players and your staff are on the same page moving forward in a football game, that's who matters.
How do you make those decisions? Is that gut? Is that analytics? Just how do you go about making some of those?
Analytics is the big to-do now in sports, and some coaches just look strictly at the book, and some coaches go with some gut. I think there's a mix. I think you need to understand, part of being a football coach is understanding the flow of the football game. Part of being a coach is understanding the look in your players' eyes, how you're doing throughout the football game, what you like, what you don't like that you're seeing. But there is a book that it has all the answers that you're supposed to go by, right? But again, it doesn't take into account that sports is not just a numbers game. There are football players and emotions and human beings on the inside of that face mask that, sometimes can sway your decision or change a decision here and there. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So, I stand by it. It was the right call for the situation, and here we are.
Coach, last year at this time, the team must have felt great how they played against Arkansas, even though they lost. This is obviously a very different feeling. Is there a silver lining? Because that led to 3 straight losses right away. Is there a silver lining for you as a coach that maybe being humbled is an easier thing to coach?
Yeah, I don't see it much different. I don't see that we should hang our head about the performance. Again, they ran the score up late, which that's Power 5. You're going to need to pad the stats. You're going to need to do those things once you get it rolling, which, again, it is what it is. I don't think our players are discouraged or down or, humbled by getting beat by Kansas. Again, we were in the game for the majority of the game outside of 10 minutes. I think, if anything, we're going to grow from that and understand that with the young football team we put on the field and with some younger guys at different positions, and you still went toe-to-toe. You didn't flinch. You showed up. You were physical. You were aggressive for the most part, and we're ready to go on with the rest of the season.
And UT Martin last year, when you guys played them back and forth, high-scoring game, fourth quarter comeback, do you expect a similar game?
Absolutely. It's always a battle with UT Martin. Again, we know each other well. They know what they're going to get for the most part from us. We know what we're going to get from them. It comes down to a series here and there that always changes that game. We have to be able to go in and, have the chip on our shoulder and get the season back on the right track. And again, they'll be at home. They're comfortable. We need to go on the road and be able to compete and win.
How different are they? They have a new quarterback. The other guy went and played around. He was in the pros for a little bit there in the preseason. Just how different is that team?
Yeah, schematically, I don't think they're a ton different. I mean, obviously, I know that they've lost some major pieces, again, a lot like us, but they do such a good job of recruiting. They've got similar athletes at the same spot, and they haven't revamped their scheme or anything like that. Offensively, they're similar. Defensively, they're similar, even though their DC went to Tulsa. I think their special teams coordinator may have gone somewhere too, but they've had some turnover on the staff. But again, it comes down to making the plays you need to make and eliminating explosive plays and being able to get after the quarterback like we talked about earlier. Those are things we're going to get right back to work on today, and I'm excited about it.
How do you assess the secondary after that performance? There were some times where guys are running free. Of course, you weren't getting some of the rush that you wanted to get to where that they were kind of out there for a while. Just how do you look at that?
Yeah, I think for overall body of work, they hung in there and did all right with the big wide receivers and the strong quarterback with his big arm and being able to stretch the field like that. There were 2 instances where you had guys running wide open, and that's inexcusable. That's lack of execution. It just cannot happen. Now, on our side as coaches, we have to make sure that we're putting things in the package that they're comfortable enough with to execute on important situations. And again, I think it's been great to go back and evaluate all those things. And, these men are old enough to be able to talk to you back and forth in regards to how they felt about the game, call structure, things like that. And I've been with the group as the defensive play caller for the last 4 years, and that's kind of nice to have that open communication to where, Taj is going to come up here in a little bit, to where you can ask Taj, hey, third down thoughts. You've been watching a bunch of film. What are your thoughts here? What do you like? What do you not like? What do you like from the game we just called? All those type of things. Communication is key.
What can you tell us about Taj as a player, evolution till now, and what you need out of him this season?
Night and day. When Taj came to campus, he was a skinny little guy that, we didn't really know what position he was going to play. We knew he was extremely athletic and had the heart of a lion and wanted to be something and be some position and do it great. Now that he's settled into the Will Backer position, I think that he is going to flourish in this defense. You remember Tyler Wiltz a few years ago that had all the production, the sacks, the TFLs, running guys down on pass plays. That's what I see Taj's ability being able to do. And, last year I think we strained him just a little bit, having him play multiple positions throughout the games. Now that he's settled in, he can get some of those different things schematically under his belt. He's going to do a great job for us. And we need him to do that. We need him to focus in, and we need him to make sure that, again, potential is a scary word. Potential is one of those things that everybody can talk about how great you could be, but are you willing to put in the work to be that guy?
Did you guys recruit him, or was he already signed when you guys came in?
Wow. Yeah, we recruited him. Because Taj, I was thinking about the situation. He was actually a late ad. You were a late qualifier. So those are interesting, and it was kind of still what we do to this day. Find guys that are great high school players that for some reason or another a grade wasn't going through here or there that qualified late, and we were able to get Taj on the roster, and Coach Skylar Cassidy was the lead recruiter there. And that was a good get. I'm excited to have Taj. He's a great part of our defense, and when you look at him, he's a grown man. When he puts his pads on, that's what you want the guys to look like when they come out of the tunnel. And his football knowledge has risen tremendously, so that's good.
Coach, what about your place kicker? Are you happy with because he had a little bit of switch there, new personnel, and didn't miss a beat, didn't think?
Yeah, he's done a nice job. Owen's come in. He's a transfer from Bowling Green State. He was actually a D2 All-American. He had some growing pains early when he got here. I think he kind of felt like he was just going to walk in and be as good as Jose. I don't think he realized exactly the guy he was coming in to replace, because he missed a few early in camp, and the guys kind of gave him the side eye about like, hey man, there's a certain standard here with the place kicking that you need to get behind and do your job. And he's done that. He's done really well. His vision and football mentality has improved, and the attention to detail is there. So I think he's going to do a great job for us.